Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us out there, including yourself, to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one philosophy, one framework. We created a whole process that we codified on this. We have a hardcover book on the subject, a university, and you're listening to the daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is why you can't sell to save your life. Why are you failing to make the sales that you want to make, whether it comes to selling yourself, selling your ideas, selling whatever goods you have created and you want to get out there to the world. I talked about how to sell yourself the right way back in 2016, episode number 9, how to sell yourself the right way. Also, there's a course called Sell Yourself available to Work on Your Game university members at the season level and above, and also have a book called The Seller's Mindset, which you can get at workonyourgame.com/books. On that page, you can see all the books that we have and pick and choose whatever works for you. Now, anything that you get in life, understand that anywhere someone gets to evaluate you in order to make their decision, that's a sale, or at least an attempt at a sale. So whether you are either selling yourself or you're failing to sell yourself, even when you are not the product, for example, if you're selling a car, you're launching a software product, you're selling ice cream, people may not be buying you personally, but their belief in you determines whether they even see the product itself for what it actually is. Because if somebody doesn't buy into you as a person, then they're not going to give a fair and honest look at whatever it is you're offering, because they don't buy you. So they're not going to buy anything that you're representing. If they don't trust you, they're not going to trust any product that you're offering. So you need to understand that everything that you're offering, whether, again, it could be an idea, it could be another person, it could be a product or a service, people have to buy into you in order for them to buy into whatever else that you have. So what we're going to do here, starting today, this is actually going to be a 3-part series. So this is volume 1 of 3 on why we fail to sell ourselves successfully in certain aspects of life. So recognize that you may be good in some of these areas, but maybe not good in others. And I believe we got 13 points here. Let me make sure as I look at what notes we have. I believe it's 13 reasons why people fail to sell themselves, or why they suck at selling themselves or can't sell themselves to save their lives. We're going to go through all 13 between today, tomorrow, and the day after that. So let's get straight to it without further ado. Point number 1. The topic, once again, is why you can't sell to save your life. You don't know what you're offering. You don't know what you are giving to the world, meaning maybe you know exactly what it is. Maybe this is a car, or it's me, or it's my idea, or it's what I want people to think. But you don't know it well enough to make it simple for other people to understand. Meaning you can explain it to yourself, but you can't explain it to another person. Or even when you do explain it to them, your explanation is so long, or it's so unclear, so ambiguous that other people don't really get it. And if people don't understand what you're offering, then they're probably not going to buy it. They're probably not going to accept it. They won't be able to explain it to another person. They can't even explain it to themselves. So are they going to buy that? Would you buy something if you didn't quite understand exactly what it was? Probably not, unless you're buying from, I don't know, maybe one of your kids or a family member or your best friend, and you just want to support them even though you don't understand what the hell they're doing. Other than that, anyone who you don't have that level of affinity for or that level of connection with, you're not buying anything from them if you don't understand it. One thing that I know to be very true is that if you struggle to make something clear to another person, then you are probably having some struggle to make it clear to yourself. So whenever you find that it's hard for you to communicate what you're offering to someone else, the number one thing you can do right now is to start making it clear to another person. Making it clear to yourself, rather. Make it clear to you, then you can communicate it to another person. But if they can't get it, it's probably because you don't get it when you're telling it to yourself. So that's the first step, is figuring out what it is that you're offering in a way that you get it and you can simplify it. The more simple you can make something, the more people you can spread it to, and the easier you can get that point across. The more complicated something is, first of all, the more time it's going to take you to explain it to someone else, and not everybody's going to give you the time to explain it to them. Secondly, the more complicated something is, the fewer people are going to actually understand it. Because listen, most people on the planet are not as smart as you are. So if something is a level 2, or let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, if something is a level 2 complication, then let's say you'll be able to get that message across to 95% of the general public. But then when it jumps to a level 5, now you can only get it to 50% of the public. And when it jumps to a level 9, now only 10% of people would even understand it when you get done explaining it. So you're cutting off your possible audience. And if it's something that anybody in the general population could use, then hopefully you keep it down at a level 2, 1, or maybe even a level 0, simple enough that everybody gets what it is. Because you need to remember, if you haven't heard this before, now you know it, but if you have, remember this: confused people do nothing. You know what you're offering, but you can't make it simple for other people to understand it. They are confused, and when people are confused, they do not move forward with the thing that they're confused about. Now, people might do something, but it's not going to be anything to do with the thing that they're unclear on. So if they're unclear, you're unclear, they're not doing anything with whatever it is that you're offering. That whatever it is could be you as a person. What confused people do is find the nearest exit and go find something that is not confusing, something that they understand, and they'll go deal with that. And another thing about people being confused or not being clear on what you're offering, oftentimes people won't even tell you when they don't quite understand what you're offering. They'll just move on and go do something else or go find something else, because no human being likes to feel like they are, if you're explaining something that's complicated to them, but you're making it sound like it's supposed to be simple and they don't quite get it, even if they ask you, like, I don't quite get what you're saying. A lot of people are not going to just keep telling you, I don't get it. Make it simpler, make it simpler, make it easier. Most people will pretend that they understand, and then they'll just move on and go somewhere else and get something or find something that they can understand, because nobody wants to feel like, many people are not very comfortable feeling like they are intellectually short of understanding what the hell you're talking about. If you're saying it like, oh, it's simple, look, and then you explain it and they don't get it, they're not going to keep saying it to you. They're just going to move on because they don't want to admit that they don't get it, and you failed to explain it. So the simpler it is, again, the easier you can get it across. So I want you to be able to fill in the following sentence with anything that you are selling in life. I help blank do blank. That's it. I help blank do blank. So if you're selling some women's shampoo and conditioner, you can say, I help women wash their hair. I help blank do blank. So the do part is the wash. That's the action, the verb. This is for anybody. All right, this is not just for entrepreneurs. This is for anybody in the world whenever you're trying to make a sale. When I was working at Foot Locker, at my first job out of college, I would fill in that sentence by saying, I help sneaker shoppers find the perfect footwear. If you're working at a gym, you help people live their healthiest life, or at least the people who are coming to the gym live their healthiest life. So you should try this one out. I help blank do blank. And the more specific you can get, the better. And the more specific you get, when you start niching down, then you're going to get to a target audience, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of people. But when you're targeting that audience properly and you're offering the thing that they really want, then they'll buy in and you'll be good with just that. You don't need to reach, quote unquote, everybody. Point number 2. Today's topic is why you can't sell to save your life. This is part 1 of 3. You are selling to the wrong people, and these people are not your buyers. And or you are selling to people who may be your buyers, but they can't really buy what you're offering. So you know what you have is good for them, but they're not in position to purchase it. For the rest of us, perhaps you focus on your buyers and not your followers. Maybe you do have the right thing to sell and you know exactly what it is, but you're offering to people who either don't need it or don't want it, or they don't need it or want it right now. So for example, let me putting some flesh to the second point. When I worked at a gym, for example, one gym that I worked at was Valley Total Fitness. And we had on our computers in the back rooms all the leads that the gym had reached out to ever over time. Now, over the course of the time of the gym, a lot more people became leads, prospects for the gym than people who actually became members. Now, we had a healthy number of members. That's the only way we made money, by signing people up to be members. That was our commission. But there was a lot more people who had looked at the gym, or they filled out some interest form, or they came in and took a tour through the gym and maybe signed up, or were about to sign up, but they didn't sign up, or we wanted to sign them up and they just chose not to sign up. So we had all these leads in the computer. And when I first started working there, and I'm trying to figure out how do I get some traction and actually start making some sales, the person who was training me showed me the computer system and said, all right, here's how you pull up all the old leads, and you can just go through these leads and just call people, because all these people were leads for our particular location. So everyone was local to that particular location, and they told me, just reach out to some of these people, call them on the phone, and see if they want to come in and take a look at the gym. Maybe you can offer them, tell them what our new special is, or maybe because it's the summertime, or maybe it's the new year coming up. Whatever way you want to sell it, then you sell it to them to get them to come into the gym. And then when they see the gym, then hopefully you're able to sell them a membership. That's how you make your commission. And we be calling all these old leads. And I remember sitting in that phone room, and there'd be 4 or 5 of us in the phone room. We're all on a computer, and we're just on our phones, and we're just calling people and saying, hey, do you want to take a look at the gym? Take a look at the gym. And the thing is, we're all looking at the same set of old prospects. Now, there might have been hundreds of people in here, but these people have been in here for months. They've been in there for years. They have been called over and over and over again by the gym, by salespeople like me and my coworkers, who were trying to get them to come into the gym, and they may have already told 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, hey, I'm not interested in the gym, please stop calling me. But we would keep calling them. We would just keep calling these people, and sometimes they would get mad, they would cuss us out, they would call back to the gym because we kept leaving voice messages on their system saying, hey, I'm not interested in the gym, please take me off your call list. Or they wouldn't even say please. They would say they would put some other choice words in that conversation, just trying to let us know that I am not a buyer for the gym. Maybe at one time I was interested, but I'm not interested right now. Maybe I don't want it right now. Maybe later, but not now. Stop calling me. So sometimes in life, you have the right product that would help that person. I mean, look, they're the ones who became leads to the gym. The only reason we had their phone number is because they, at some point in the past, reached out to the gym and gave us their information. They gave us the name, they gave us the number, we called, and it was the right person. So they gave us the information, but they're just not a buyer right now. So sometimes you either have to try a different approach, or you just got to find some different people to sell to. So a lot of times when you have all these dead leads and it just wasn't working for us. For some of us in other ways, if we get out of the brick and mortar area, we look at the online space, especially when you're looking at something like social media. One thing that you will probably notice, even though I may not know you personally, one thing you'll probably notice is a lot of your followers on social media are not the same as your buyers on your customer list when you're actually making sales. And not often, there's not a huge amount of overlap between the followers and the buyers. And maybe you do have the right thing to sell, but maybe those people who are buying from you, they're not even the same ones who are making all the noise on your online platforms where people can just freeload and get whatever it is that you're offering for free. So you may need to assess, am I selling to people who are actually buying from me? Or where the people who are buying, where are they actually finding me, and what is their activity like, and how can I communicate with those people a little bit more tightly? How can I communicate with those people a little bit more closely? Sometimes we are giving a lot of energy to people who are not even converting and becoming the thing that we're actually after. Now, if you're in the business world, you need to make sales. All right, it's not followers. You don't really get paid for followers unless you're a full-time influencer and all you do is brand deals. Unless that's you, you're not getting paid for followers. What you get paid, and even those people don't get paid for followers, they get paid based on followers, but not because of followers. You are probably getting paid for sales. You get paid for transactions. You get paid for exchanges. So who are the people who are actually making those exchanges? And how can you find more of those people? Because those are who you need to focus on. And understand that the people who are making the exchanges with you is a very small percentage probably compared to the people who are freeloading off of you. In other words, taking whatever you offer that doesn't cost anything. The number of people from that group that will actually make the exchange is very tiny. So you need to really start 80-20ing, and this ain't even 80-20, and this might be 99-1ing, if you know what I'm saying. Realizing that 99% of your results are coming from 1% of the inputs that you're paying attention to. So you may have the right thing and know exactly what it is, you're clear on it, but you're offering to people who don't need it, don't want it, at least not right now, or you're offering the wrong thing, and we'll get at that in a minute. Let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic is why you can't sell to save your life. This is part 1 of a 3-part series. Number 3, you're looking at the wrong stats. And I just touched on this in episode number, not just touched on it, but just touched on it in point number 2. But I talked about this in detail in episode number 1114. How much does social media matter to or for your business? If you have not listened to that episode, especially any of you who is selling online, you're doing digital marketing, and you utilize social media, which anyone who's doing digital marketing probably utilizes social media in some way, you might be looking at the wrong statistics. Understand that social media stats, social media metrics, vanity metrics, as we say, are not the same as sales, unless your business is being a full-time influencer and everything is based on your vanity metrics. There was a guy I met just a week or so ago from this recording who was telling me that his full-time job is being an online influencer. So based on the number of followers that he has, he does brand deals in a certain niche area for certain types of companies, and those companies pay him to do advertising and make content and things like that to advertise their products, and he makes money based off that. And a lot of times when it comes to that type of material, those companies are paying based on your vanity metrics on social media, the engagement, the comments, the followers, things like that. So unless you're like that individual, that guy, he's the first person I met who told me that that's what he does, that's his full-time job. Unless you're him, all right, this is not what you need to be doing. Social media is not the main driver of your business. I heard someone say that social media may be more indicative of what your business is doing. It is not actually the creator. It's not the catalyst for your business being how it is. It's just showing maybe what you got going on, but that doesn't mean you get more followers. That's because that means all of a sudden you're going to get more business. No. So what you should do, instead of looking at your vanity metrics, i.e. your followers, your comments, your likes, your views, your subscribers, and whatever other stats they got out there these days. They're always coming up with new ones to keep people chasing that carrot on social media. Look at your customer list. And then look at your comment section on social media. Are they the same people? Are people who are leaving the comments on the free stuff, are they the same people who are buying stuff? What I found, now again, my audience may be different from yours, but what I found is the people who are actually buying stuff, they're not the same people who they don't leave comments. And I look at the people who are buying, I'm like, I've never seen this person in the comment section. I don't really see this person engaging with any of the free stuff. I mean, they do it, they tell me, but they're not making themselves known. They're not making a spectacle of themselves on the social media platforms. And the people who are, they ain't buying nothing. This is what I found. Again, now maybe it's different for you. So this is your job here. That's why point number 3 is, what stats are you looking at? Are you looking at your buyers if you're in business here? Because we're talking about selling. Or are you looking at the vanity metrics of what the social media platforms want you to pay attention to? And I want you to remember that the social media platforms want you to pay attention to certain stats, not because it's helping you, but because it's helping them. Remember what the game is on social media. The game is not there to help you. The game is they're giving you something for quote unquote for free. It's not actually free. I got a masterclass coming on this exact subject in the not too distant future. But you're the product. On social media, each one of us is an individual person. We are the product. If you have any social media account on any platform, even just one, or you got one on all of them, you are the product. The reason that it's free is because they are buying and selling you on a day-to-day basis. The only thing is you do not participate in the upside. In other words, you don't make any of the money. They make all the money. That's the way it works on social media. And again, I got a whole masterclass coming on that subject very soon. So if you are thinking that you need to look at that when it comes to making your sales, you are incorrect. Now, it does not mean some people from your social cannot become buyers. They cannot become part of your customer list. They absolutely can. And maybe social media is the way that you draw those people in. Listen, I use social media every single day, actively. But I understand the difference between a vanity metric on Instagram and a customer on a merchant in a merchant account. Those are two completely different things. So notice that the people who are engaging with your social medias are usually not the same people who are making all the purchases. People making the purchases usually don't make as much noise as the people who are not purchasing anything, but they'll consume everything you put out for free. And you can decipher why that is. Let's move on to point number 4. Today's topic is why you can't sell to save your life. This is part 1 of 3. We're going to break this down into a 3-part series. I'm going to give you the first 5 here today. Number 4, failure to communicate what you're offering. In other words, you have something to sell, but nobody knows that you're selling it. You cannot be a timid salesperson. As world-renowned, famous, now passed away, motivational speaker and sales trainer Zig Ziglar used to say, timid salespeople have skinny kids. You have to communicate what you're offering. You had to be bold about communicating it, and you had to be persistent in communicating it, because nobody else is thinking about your offering or you, period, or your products as much as you are. They don't care about what you have going on. Every one of us has our own lives that we're living every single day, and we got our own business that we're dealing with. We are not thinking as hard about what you have going on as you are thinking about it, which means in order to get my attention, you need to be very consistent and maybe creative and try different things, and just making sure and persistent and making sure that you're getting my attention and letting me know what you're offering and why it matters to me. Now, again, you might need to try different approaches for figuring out what matters to me and why something matters to me. It might not be the same as why it would matter to somebody else. This is all your job when it comes to marketing. I talked about this in episode 1515. The topic is you are a marketer. So you want to get better at marketing your stuff. Let me make sure I'm giving you the right episode there. Yes, 1515. You are a marketer. This is all part of your marketing job and communicating to people exactly what you're offering and communicating to the right people, people who actually need it. What you help people get is fine, but it's even better to build the bridge. What is it going to do for them? So, for example, if you're selling a car, it's great to sell a car, but do people really want a car? Some people want a car, but what most people want is a way to transport themselves from point A to point B. So you understand the difference? The car is the thing that you're selling, but what it does for them is the transportation. So this product matters because. So you want to answer that question. Why does this product actually matter? Yes, I'll sell you a t-shirt, but people don't really want a t-shirt. What people want is whatever is on that t-shirt or how the t-shirt feels or whatever it's going to do for them. That's your job. You're the one who is offering the product. Figuring out what it is that it does for that person, that's part of your marketing. So for example, if I'm selling a gym membership, one way I can sell it is you'll be more attractive to your significant other, or you'll be more attractive to other people of the opposite sex who may be interested in you, or you're going to be healthy and you'll live longer, or you won't have another heart attack, or you'll have big muscles, or you have six-pack abs and you'll look good when you go on the beach. These are all things that can be true when it comes to somebody signing up for the gym. My job is to throw these hooks out there and figure out which ones are working for which types of people, and then asking myself, all right, who am I trying to get attention from? And throw that hook out there based on what I know, based on my research and my knowledge, what these people actually want that's going to hook them in. Not just what they get, but what it's going to do for them. So for example, when I was working at Bally Total Fitness and I was calling those dead leads, I didn't understand these things that I'm telling you right now. So I would call them and say, hey, this is Dre. I'm calling from Bally Total Fitness. Can I speak to Dave? Dave would say, yeah, this is Dave. I would say, Dave, hey, I just wanted to see if you were still interested in the gym. And a lot of times that shit did not work. Why? One reason is maybe Dave just wasn't interested in the gym no matter what I said. Another reason was I was telling Dave about what I was offering, the gym. When I should have been telling Dave something like, hey, Dave, remember how you wanted to get really big muscles? Well, we're still here, and here's a way that you can get them. That would be better than me saying I want to see if you're interested in the gym. Now, would it have worked? Maybe, maybe not. But it was a better pitch than just saying the gym. Nobody cares about the gym. What people want is what they get from the gym. Nobody cares about a podcast. What you want is what you get from the podcast. The entertainment, the knowledge, the whatever it is you're going to get from it. We want what it does for us, not what it actually is. So make sure anytime that you're selling, that point right there could be gold for any of you right now who has been pitching yourself and or your products the wrong way or incompletely, let's just say, not even wrong, but incompletely. What people get, not just what it does. For example, work on your game. I could tell you, all right, this will help you stop doubting yourself, or this will help you to put yourself out there boldly and authentically so you can really get seen, heard, and known in your industry. Those are the things that you actually get. Those are the things you actually care about. You don't care about reading a book or taking a course or going through a program. What you care about is what you get from the book, course, or program. If I'm selling a car, you can get around in an ultimate driving machine, or you can pull up at the valet circle at the mall and everybody's going to be looking at you because this is a beautiful luxury vehicle. So many athletes will reach out to me and tell me how they work really hard on a sports team, or I'll hear athletes even say, well, I know other players who work really hard on the team and they're not getting the opportunity, or I really want it badly, or I know players who really want it and they're not getting the same opportunity. Listen, they're probably telling the truth. I hear from a lot of athletes who approach with this, they open with the same thing about how hard they work and how much they want it. But I'm saying, if I'm the coach and I'm choosing players for my sports team, soccer, football, basketball, hockey team, I don't care about how hard you work. I don't care about how hard you want it. I really don't. Now, maybe I'll say that because I want everybody to work hard and I want everybody to want it. That's not really what I want. If I'm the coach, you know what I care about? I care about winning games. Now, working hard in practice will probably get us closer to winning games, but working hard is not the end goal. Working hard is just a means to an end. And often people talk about working hard or how hard they work or how they feel like they deserve something because of their effort, as if that's the end game. Working hard is not the end game, people. Working hard is just part of the process and is a requirement. What I care about is what I'm going to get. So the next time you're looking to sell something to somebody, ask yourself, what does this person actually want in the end? What's the main thing that they want? And then ask yourself, how can I craft my offer so that I'm talking about what they want and not just what I'm giving them? That could change everything for you. Point number 5. Today's topic is why you cannot sell to save your life. You are being too timid in talking yourself up. Like I just talked about a minute ago, timid salespeople have skinny kids, meaning their kids ain't eating because there ain't no food on the table because they're not selling anything. You can't be timid in talking yourself up. You want to be known Out here in the world, you're trying to cut through the fat of everybody putting themselves out there, everybody trying to be known, everybody with a message to share, everybody trying to sell something or sell themselves. You got to figure out a way to cut through the fat and break through the noise. This is often the biggest hindrance for people when you're in a crowded field, because everybody looks and sounds the same and everyone is selling a similar thing. So the question is not, do you have to create something completely different to sell? Not necessarily. Just have to ask yourself this question: what are you willing to do or say in order to stand out? How are you going to jump ahead of everybody else? I mean, think about the music industry, for example, where it's art and everybody has music to put out. Everybody's putting out an album or they're putting out a song. They want you to stream their new track. How do you stand out? How do you make yourself jump ahead of the crowd? Now, it's art, so some people are not going to like your art and a bunch of people are going to love your art. So that's part of it. But another thing is you got to figure out a way to get people to pay attention to you in the first place, to even know that you have a song, to even know that you're out there, to even listen to you in the first place. Maybe that means something that you say. Maybe it's something that you do. Maybe it's the way you present yourself. It's your nonverbal communication. It needs to be something about you that grabs people's attention, because if you don't have that, you can be really good, but nobody's going to know about it. When every option appears to be the same, and you're one of those options, what you become is a commodity, and then it's a race to the bottom, meaning everybody's just trying to get a shot, and nobody has anything that makes them stand out. Then it becomes like or who can be the cheapest price, who can make it easiest for the customer. You probably don't want that because you're not going to eat too well in that situation. In my junior year of college, for example, when the coach who recruited me had lost his job, a new coach had come in that year. A whole bunch of people tried out for the basketball teams. The most people at basketball tryouts I had ever seen in my 4 years of college. The reason why so many people tried out, because everyone knew we had this new coach, so everyone, it looked like, thought that they had a chance to make the basketball team. And at these tryouts this year, there were about 37 average-sized white guys all trying out for the basketball team. All of them between, let's say, 6 feet tall, maybe 6 feet 4 inches tall. All of them average athleticism. All of them average or below average talent. None of them really exceptional. They all were trying out for the basketball team. Now, I'm telling you that to tell you this. The coach, seeing these commoditized players, and they were definitely all commoditized players, he seemed to pick the players randomly. I mean, when the players that he picked versus the players that he cut, I didn't really quite understand. Out of that 37, there were probably about 10 of them ended up making the team. But there had to be another 6 to 8 of them who could have been swapped out interchangeably with some of the 10 who did make it, and it wouldn't have been any difference. There was no difference in talent. There was no difference in really ability or skill or anything. The coach was just picking players randomly. One reason is that coach, he wasn't that great of a coach, and his career didn't last too long, even once he did have the job. Another reason is they were all commodities. It really didn't matter who he picked. He was going to pretty much get the same results with any of them, as far as I'm concerned. Anybody could have made that team from that group of 37 average-sized guys that year, because they were all commodities. If you want to stand out in life, if you find yourself looking around and you're like, damn, all these people seem to be exactly the same as me, you got to ask yourself, what am I going to do to jump ahead of this pack? How am I going to stand out when everybody seems to have the same offer that I have? If you don't answer that question, you run the risk of becoming a commodity, and you probably won't stay in that game for too long, because there's no ROI for you to get. All right, the slice of pie that you end up getting, splitting it with all those other people who are exactly the same as you, it's not going to be enough pie for you to eat. Or you're going to become skinny. Or you might die of starvation. So you're going to need to figure out a way that you jump ahead of that crowd, or change what you're offering, or change how you're offering it, so that you actually create an industry where it's just you. You create a space where you're not competing against a whole bunch of other people who seem to be exactly the same as you, no differentiation. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is part 1 of 3. Why you can't sell to save your life. Again, refer to episode number 9, how to sell yourself the right way, as well as you take these in. Point number 1, you don't know what you're offering, meaning you know what it is, but you don't know it well enough to make it simple for other people. When people are confused about what you're offering, they do not do anything. Fill in the following sentence: I help blank do blank. When you can answer that question in a simple sentence, not answer the question, but fill that sentence in a simple way, as specifically as possible, that's when people will understand what you're doing. Point number 2, you're selling to the wrong people and they are not your buyers, or you're selling to people who simply can't buy or don't want to buy. Understand the people who are freeloading off your stuff on social media are not the same people who are buying your stuff on your website. You should know the difference between the two. So maybe you had the right thing to sell and you know exactly who that is, but you're offering it to people who either don't need it, don't want it, or just don't want it right now. So when I was working at a gym, we'd be calling all these old leads people who didn't need the gym, didn't want the gym, or didn't want it right now, but we kept trying to sell to them and it really was not working. Point number 3, looking at the wrong stats. You're looking at the wrong stats. Episode number 1114. Subject was, how much does social media matter for your business? Understand that social media vanity metrics are not the same as sales metrics unless your business is being a full-time influencer and everything is based on your vanity metrics. If you're not that, everything is not based on this. Look at your customer list and look at your comment section. Are those the same people? Probably not. Point number 4. Failure to communicate what you are offering. What you help people get is fine. It's even better to tell them what it actually does for them. When somebody comes to a gym, they don't want a gym membership. They want to be more attracted to their spouse. They want to live longer. They want to be able to walk up the stairs without running out of breath. Somebody comes to work on your game. They don't want work on your game. They want to be able to follow through and do their work all the time. They want to put themselves out there. They want to start things and stop waiting for things to happen in their lives so that they can be the leader instead of being the follower. That's what we're actually giving you, is not the thing. It's what the thing does for you that people actually want. An athlete talks about how hard they work. Coaches don't care about hard work. They say they care about hard work. What they really care about is keeping their jobs and looking good by winning games. So if you can prove that you can help the team win games and you work hard, that's when you make a sale. Number 5, you're being too timid and talking yourself up. This is often the biggest hindrance when you're in a crowded field, because timid salespeople have skinny kids. Everybody looks and sounds the same. So if you want to stand out, what are you going to do that's going to make you different from everybody else out there? And it doesn't have to be some huge drastic change. It could be a small difference, but significant enough in that difference that other people can notice that this is what separates you from everybody else out there. You have to make it clear how you're different from anyone else that may seemingly be just like you. Because if you can't, then you become a commodity and then your value goes down because you're not offering anything that can't be easily replaced by somebody else. So tomorrow we're going to go into point 2 of 3, or episode 2 of 3 on this subject. Why you can't sell to save your life. If you want to learn more about selling yourself, you should definitely take the Sell Yourself course inside of Work on Your Game University, which you can get at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.